Right, for this session I have planned a class around lower back pain. Lower back pain's a funny thing. Unless you have been diagnosed with something a little bit more suspicious from your physio or your doctor or something along those lines, quite often lower back pain can be just muscular. And I say just, it's not. I have suffered lower back pain before and I know how painful it can be. So especially during these times of kind of uncertainty that we're going through, I wanted to address it, and we are at home a lot more. We've probably become a lot more sedentary, but then kind of expecting ourselves to whip around the house and clean it up in 5 minutes, or painting the outside of your house, as some people are. There's a lot of kind of strenuous activity and then a lot of sedentariness, and you've kind of gone out of your normal routines, whether that's coming to class a couple of times a week or just, you know, making sure you get your kind of daily movement in if you were going to a gym or anything along those lines. So I just wanted to address that kind of lower back pain situation today. It's a really gentle class, but it's a really lovely class. So even if it isn't lower back pain, or maybe if you just need to kind of be a little bit more mindful about your movement, this might be a class you want to jump into as well. Just bridging on that little kind of thing about lower back pain, breathing is a huge part of kind of releasing pain. Movement is a huge part of it as well. So a kind of bulk of this class is going to be spent on just mindful movement, going through our breath work, and just small movements, some things that make you feel okay. So if I'm taking you a little bit too far into a movement, then know to ease back and listen to your body and just take time to work into those movements. Option here, I know quite a few people who do suffer lower back pain find it really hard just to get down on the floor. So some of this work might be done up higher, like on your bed or something like that, or making sure that you've got a pillow and just find yourself, or a rolled up towel underneath the head, just find yourself completely comfortable. I don't want you to kind of lie down and then that sends your back into spasm. If your back is going into spasm or it is so severe that you can't lie down, contact me, send me a message, or get hold of your doctor or your physio. They're still doing telehealth appointments and they can kind of address any of that really severe pain through that. But we'll get you started. I've been yakking. So just come to lying down. Again, grab any props that you need, something just ready to stand underneath your head. So when your head's forward, it kind of allows the abdominals just to drop down a little bit lower. So you notice when I drop my head back, then kind of my ribs become a little bit more proud. So bringing your head up a little bit or raising the head just somehow might take a little bit of pain out of that lower back. It's so related. The whole entire spine is all linked up, as you know. All right, and then just take a moment, just let the body settle down, okay? Allow the eyes to close down. Hopefully you're in a quiet and comfortable space. And just give yourself this chance just to calm down with the breathing. So the longer you can make those breaths in, and then the longer you can make those breaths out, that's one of the best tools we have as human beings to calm down our own nervous system. Okay, so often when you have that lower back pain or pain anywhere through your spine or any kind of joint really, you've got to think about the kind of the bones of the joint, and then you've got these tiny little muscles that surround those joints, whether it's discs or whatever. Tiny little muscles surround those joints, and they are supposed to be the muscles that hold those joints all day long and allow them to move. They're kind of, you know, they can let the joint move in all sorts of directions. As soon as there is kind of some sort of pain or an injury happens to a site, tendency is that those tiny little muscles switch off, okay? And so our big muscles, our big global muscles, lower back pain, you're going to think it's like our big kind of TA, our QL, those big muscles which aren't supposed to do that kind of work, aren't supposed to hold you all day long, switch on, they do that work, they become tired really, really quickly. Okay, so what I want you to do as you're lying here, is just focus on your whole body melting. Okay, so those big muscles, we're going to tell them it's their turn just to relax. Okay, good work. And again, using your breath to find that relax. Find your arms just comfortable, your head heavy. Really sending the breath, if you can, down to your belly. And then exhaling, really allow the breath to exit out, let the chest become heavy, shoulders to melt down. Good, and we'll just stay here for a few extra breaths. Good, try and place the soles of the feet on the floor if that feels okay for you. It should be more comfortable than having them long. Good work. And then just resting your hands down beside you. We're going to start moving in a little bit more movement with that breath. So let's start tilting the pelvis. Okay, so if you think about that pelvis, we've got a marble resting in the center of your belly. And we're just going to roll that marble up to your ribs and then roll the marble down towards your pubic bone. And again up towards your ribs and towards your pubic bone. And keep that movement going, and we'll coordinate the breath only if it works for you. Inhale as the marble rolls to your pubic bone. Exhale as the marble moves to the ribs. Good, and we'll keep that going. Again, close your eyes down. Look, if the breath doesn't match up, then that's fine. It's just there as a little bit of assistance. Don't get caught up on it. Inhale to pubic bone. Exhale to ribs. And just checking as you're doing this, can you keep the body as relaxed as possible? Okay, so you're just rolling through the spine. There's no clenching through the butt. There's no gripping through the abdominals. We'll just go 2 more each way. And allow a little nod to come up through the chin, any kind of echo through the body. Alright, we're going to bring our marble towards your center. Alright, so as the marble rests halfway between those 2 points, we're in your neutral spine. Now I know for some of you with lower back pain, neutral spine might not feel okay. So maybe the marble a little bit more towards your ribs. It doesn't need to go all the way, so you're in a severe posterior tilt, maybe just partial. Okay, so find the position that works for you in all our movements, as long as when we start moving, you maintain that. Okay, so again, find that position that feels nice for your spine, where you can just think about those muscles relaxing and you can maintain it. Alright, from here, we're just going to go into bent knee fallout. So we're going to stay right side only. It's just going to open that right knee out towards the side of the room. Alright, and then bring that knee back in. Now what happened to your marble? Can you keep that marble in the center as you let that knee fall out? Again, this might be where a pillow is helpful, or just bring your head forward and keep an eye down through the pelvis, or your hands on the front of your pelvis. Good, noticing any shift through the pelvis, we want to stop the rotation of the pelvis following that leg. Good, and again. Alright, and as you get more and more used to this movement, staying on the right side, you should be able to gain more control over it. I like to place my hands underneath my pelvis. Imagine they're little pressure pads. Good, and you're noticing any sense of pressure change through those hands. Let's go 2 more. So you'll notice that you may start feeling muscles starting to activate inside your pelvis, okay, rather than recruitment from the abdominals or the lower back. Alright, and let's change sides, so just making sure you've released, there's no sense of gripping. Right leg's going to stay still, slowly opening up through the left. Good. And again, over to the left. May want to take a gaze down, look down at your pelvis. Can you keep it nice and level? And you might notice there's a difference from side to side. I say it every time, all different. Okay, side to side, person to person. There's reasons why. We don't need to analyze them. and just trying to find a little bit of symmetry. Keeping the ribs heavy. Good, maintaining that same position through the pelvis. 2 more. Good work. Bring that knee back through the center again. Just have a little window wiper from side to side. Make it small. I don't want to roll too much at the moment without activating. Just enough to release off. All right, we're going to leave the legs alone. We're going to reach the arms up to the ceiling. I'm going to reach the fingertips. Good, so you make the arms really long, try and touch the ceiling, and then just drop the shoulders back down into the floor. We'll do that again. Reach the fingers to the ceiling. Good, make the arms really long. You feel the outside of your shoulders lift away from the floor, and then exhale, drop them back down. You almost feel like a widening through the collarbones. We'll do 2 more like that. Inhale. Exhale, drop the arms down. Good, so the arms are staying exactly the same. It's the movements coming from the shoulder blades wrapping around the back of your ribs. Good, and it's just, again, we're trying to put some fluid between your joints, okay? So the scapula on the back of your rib cage, trying to loosen those up. All right, from here, if it feels okay to keeping the ribs, everything in the same position, we're just going to slowly lower the arms down as far as you can go to the floor behind you. Might not go all the way. Notice I don't. I don't, because if I did, my ribs would pop up. Okay, so we're keeping that little sense of control. We're just opening up through the shoulder joint. Good, and then slowly bring the hands back to the ceiling. Again, relax the shoulders. Widen those collarbones a little bit more. And then again, reaching those hands to the wall behind you. Good work. And again, you might notice there's a difference from side to side. I certainly know in me that there is. Good. All right, we'll go 1 more. You breathe however you like. Exhale will help you keep those ribs heavy as the hands move behind you. From here, we'll sweep the arms around in a circle. Good, and then sweeping them back up and over. And again, around in a circle, back up and over. 1 more like this, and I really want you to think about just letting the shoulders move, allowing that rotation of the arm bone. We'll switch direction. Good, you notice I'm scraping on the wall. Good, and again, noticing from side to side, one hand might not be as comfortable on the floor, just working with what feels okay for you. All right, last one. Good work. Hands come all the way back down to the floor. Again, just that little wiggle woggle side to side of the pelvis, just releasing off. Good, and again, checking that comfortable position for your pelvis. Maybe just take that little rock back and forth through the pelvis. All right, and then here, just finding that point that feels nice for you, your center point, your neutral. Okay, and then here, just relaxing the arms down beside you. We're just going to float the right leg up into tabletop. So I've got that 90-degree bend at the back of my knee. I'm going to lower that leg back down, keeping that 90-degree bend. Left leg floats up, and again, lower it down, keeping that bend. All right, and again, float that right leg in, noticing whether that pelvis is shifted. Can we lower the leg down without the pelvis moving? Back over to the left. Good, and then the right. Good work. So you might notice that that space underneath the lower back is decreasing or increasing. Can you keep the space exactly the same? Or if you're in a posterior tilt and the lower back is on the floor, again, can you keep that exactly the same? Whatever your position you're in, you're maintaining. Good work. We're just going for a float, keeping that knee bend exactly the same. You can imagine that the leg is nice and light, making it really light as you float it up and then back down. We'll go 2 more on each side. Good. Can you keep the pelvis the same? Keep the shoulders relaxed. Keep breathing. Last one here. Good. And again, just window wipe those knees from side to side. So we're just activating the abdominals gently. Nothing too severe. From here, we're going to go into bridging. We're going to take it really slow. Again, with bridging, with lower back pain, just working through that tilt of the pelvis that feels okay for you. So you may be working in neutral, okay, if just a straight lift up rather than rolling through the spine. But I'll take you through the roll. I want you to go into it, see how you feel. And then if it doesn't feel nice, then just regress further and further back to see what feels okay for you. All right, I'm going to take my arm out of the way so you can see what's going on. From here, take a breath in. That marble, we're going to roll it back towards our rib cage, okay? And then roll it back towards neutral. Again, roll it back towards our rib cage. And then I want you to lift that marble up a little bit higher as you just lift the tailbone off the floor. And then roll back down. So it's a micro movement. We need to think one vertebrae at a time. Okay, and so we're rolling the marble back to the ribs. We're going to lift that lower tailbone up, lower pelvis off, and then roll back down. Okay, so we're just creeping up inch by inch through the spine. Coming up now, the whole pelvis is off the floor. Good, and then rolling back down. And again, the pelvis just lifts off. Can you go one segment into your lower back, into your lumbar spine, and then roll back down. And again, coming up through the lower back. Good. Can we go pretty much navel height? And then roll back down. So you can feel now the activation's coming a little bit through the lower abdominals to get you towards that navel height, maybe a segment higher. Squeeze through the bum cheeks and then roll back down. And then again, coming up past the navel, one more segment, another segment. We're kind of towards the bottom of the rib cage. Okay, so you can feel the base of your ribs down on the floor and then roll back down. And again, we'll come up to the base of the rib cage. Good, take a breath. I want you to really breathe into the bottom of the ribs. Bottom's working quite a bit. And then exhale, roll back down. All right, again, we'll come up to the bottom of the ribs. Good, take a breath into the bottom of the ribs. Now I want you to lift up one rib. And then roll back down. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, moving slowly. Move to the bottom of the ribs. Lift up that bottom rib. Lift up that second rib. And then roll back down. All right, and again, rolling up, we'll go bottom rib, second rib, third rib. Pretty much now we're at the top of our bridge. Okay, so at the top of the bridge, you have that wide space between your shoulder blades. Again, just working through what feels comfortable, what height feels comfortable for you. Really thinking, try and roll that marble back towards your ribs. Okay, and then roll back down. So it's about getting length out through that lower back. We're trying to get movement into the lower back. Again, tilting back, roll up. Let's go to the bottom rib. Lift up one rib, lift up two rib, go last rib, we'll come up to the top of our bridge, good, and then exhale, start through the top of the chest. Can you lower down through those ribs? So those ribs that we went over, can you place them down individually and then roll all the way down? Good, this time, thinking about those bottom few ribs as you roll past them up towards the top of your bridge. Good, pausing at the top and then rolling back down. Good, passing again. Can you place those ribs down? Beautiful. And then roll all the way. We've got one more. And again, let's pass over those bottom ribs. 1, 2, 3. Good, and then drop them down. 3, 2, 1. Lower back, pelvis, tail. Good work. Slowly bring one knee into your chest, then the other. A little rock. Good work. Breathing. Good. Releasing through those hamstrings. Good work. Let's keep your right knee in towards your chest and your left leg out long. Good work. Try and open up through the front of that hip. Good, really feeling that compression into the front of the right hip. Left leg's long. Can you press the back of the left thigh down into the floor? Good work. Slowly switching over. Left knee hugs in. Good, and again, pressing the back of that right thigh down to the floor. We're trying to open up through the front of the hip. So often when we get that lower back pain, we'll kind of move into that almost like a fetal position. We try and curl up and forward. I really want you to try and focus on opening up through the front, and that's what bridging does as well. Good work. All right, from here, let's just roll you straight over onto your side. Good, we're going to go into our book openers. Knees are up in front of your hips. Hands come in behind your head. Good, and you're just resting your head on that bottom arm, and I really want you to make sure you're doing that. So often I see kind of people start poking their heads up. Can you keep it completely relaxed so the neck's nice and quiet? All right, and then here we're setting the elbow up to the ceiling. Good, and then we're following that elbow with your gaze, letting the head roll in that bottom hand. Good, and just pausing here. We'll hang out here for a couple of breaths. I love book openers. It's a really nice one. Just want you to check as you're doing your book opener that top hip is staying still. Okay, so that top knee is almost reaching in the opposite direction from your top elbow. Another place you can do this is up against a door frame or a corner of a wall and really block that pelvis from moving and get the rotation solely from the ribs. And what I'm thinking about here is my bottom rib at the back is coming forward, my top rib at the front is moving back. Good, breathing, inhale, and then exhale, close back off. We'll do that again. Again, keep that head heavy on the bottom arm. Open up the top arm, roll around your spine. Good, so you can think about the rib cage wrapping around that spine. Good, big breath into that top armpit, top chest. And then exhale, close back off. Last one for me. Inhale to open. Good, exhale, let the chest peel open. Good, looking to that back elbow. Sink the head down into your hands, let it be relaxed. Good, can you make the head even heavier? Big breath in. And then exhale, closing all the way back off. All right, rolling onto your other side. We'll do the same thing. I'm going to go back for you guys. So knees are up in front of my hips, elbows are around, the hands are wrapped around my head, elbows in front of my eyes. I'm going to open up that top elbow and then look into that back elbow. And again, you can do whatever you need to do to block that pelvis, whether against a wall or a door frame. And it's just trying to find that breath, let the head be heavy, making sure you're not trying to jut the chin forward. Big breath into those top ribs and exhale, just try and go a little bit further. Good, so rotation is really good for all those muscles through the lower back, but also the upper back. And when the lower back becomes tight, then we start getting referrals through to the upper back. So just think about book openers as one of your magical movements. Good, come back. And again, open up, keep the head heavy. Good, and again, you may have your head on a pillow if that feels better for you. Good, and close off. One more time, again, keep that head heavy. How heavy can you make it? Let the gaze follow that back elbow. Again, noticing differences from side to side, it happens. Good work, and then closing all the way back off, rolling back onto your back. From here, I'm going to stick with that little rotation movement. Arms are slightly wider, like an upside down V shape. Legs are staying on the floor, feet are going to stay on the floor. We're going to glue our legs together though, so ankles together, knees together, inner thighs together. And then from here, we're just going to let the knees fall over towards that right side. So the left foot will come up. Good, the left hip will come up. Left shoulder staying down. Good, take a breath in and then exhale. Allow the shoulder to become heavier, the rib to become heavier. Good, and then you'll feel your lower back come down on the floor, the pelvis comes down, the foot comes down, and then inhale, rolling over to the left side. Good, so my right shoulder stays down, gaze stays towards the ceiling, and then exhale, I start through the ribs, I draw them down, ribs come down like they're peeling back down onto the floor, walking all the way down through the pelvis. Good, and then inhale back over, and then exhale, coming back through. Good, inhaling over. So we're using that breath out, we're loading the breath out, draw the body back through, feel like a sinking or a drawing in through the abdominals to peel the body back through. Okay, so this is helping to switch on through your obliques. Go to our side abdominals. Good, inhaling over, and then exhale back through. Really important that the shoulder stays down on the floor. Both shoulders keep you grounded. Good, last one to the left. Good work. All right, from here, let's go on to your side again. Just doing a little bit of work through activating through the glutes. So your heels are in line with the back of the pelvis, your head's in line with the back of the pelvis, top hand up to that top hip, relax the body. Now reach that hip a little bit further away, try and find that little space through the underneath waist, block that top hip, we're just going to open up the knee, and then close it back off. Heels stay together, knee opens up, I want you to think about the thigh bone opening up to the ceiling and then closing it back off. Okay. So you should feel this work through the outside of the hip area. Okay, it may come down and a little bit into the top of the hamstrings. Good, really blocking that pelvis from moving. So often you might want to let the pelvis roll with you. That hand is there to stop it from moving. It's almost with that hand like you're pushing the hip forward. Try and aim the hip forward as the knee opens up. Really find that activation through the outside there. Good. If you can find that activation easily, then you may want to stay up there and just do a couple little pulses. Okay, just working into that external rotation. Good. We've got 3 more. 2 and 1. Good work. Now I'm going to take you straight onto your back. We're going to stretch out that side. So I just have my left leg on top. I'm going to cross my left ankle over top of my right knee. Gently press my left knee away. Draw my toes back towards my shin. That's going to protect the knee joint. And I'm going to roll my pelvis away from me. Good. And I can really feel the stretch through the outside of my hip on my left side. Okay. If that's too much for you, try and bring that knee in towards you. A little bit more of a piriformis stretch. Or press it away, if it feels okay for you. If you want more, you can always wrap your arms around and draw that right leg in towards you. That changes the stretch again, ever so slightly. Good, so just finding where you need the stretch. Okay, so every muscle is related. Okay, so we're really trying to stretch in through your glutes. We're trying to find the glute activation to help out your lower back, but we need to make sure we're stretching them as well. Alright, you guys can roll onto your other side, or I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. We're doing your clams on the other side. So we've got top hand up on the top hip, heels in line with the back of the bottom, which is where I was going, and then your head in line with the back of your pelvis. Blocking that top hip, we're going to open up that knee. Good, and then lower it back down. And again, opening up that knee, keeping the heels together. Again, keeping zero movement through that waistline, through that hip. Keep that hip still. Good, and again, you should feel that work through the outside of the hip. Good, making sure your head's relaxed. Good, 3. Good, 2 and 1. Good work. And again, rolling straight onto your back. Again, I just work that right side this time. Right ankle over top of the right knee. Press that knee away, draw the toes back towards your shin. Find that weight in your tailbone so the marble is rolling towards my pubic bone. Good, so that's getting my glute med and bring it in a little bit more piriformis. Or press it away and then bring that left leg in towards you, just finding it for you. It takes a little bit more into the top of the hamstring. Alright, from here we're going to come all the way over onto your side. I was just going to take you up the wrong way. Alright, we're going to come into 4-point kneeling. We've got hands directly underneath your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. Underneath your head tie. Alright. So your hands are directly underneath your shoulders, knees directly underneath your hips. Just check in here that your knees aren't too far apart. If you'd like that little bit of extra stability, oh my god, we've got here issues. If you'd like that little bit of extra stability, then there is the option to take your knees wider. Okay, knees are just at that hip distance. Good, and then from here, we're just going to move through a couple of cat-cows, okay? So just moving within what feels okay for you. So inhale, here, chest comes forward. Exhale, tail comes under. Think about the navel lifting towards your spine. And then inhale, roll forward. Good, tail lifts. And again, just working within your range. Okay, I don't want you to feel any impinging, pinching, or anything of discomfort. Find what works for you. We are moving in a relaxed position, but I want you to be able to control it just to the point where we're not collapsing or dumping into that lower back. So there is a little bit of tendency to hold just slightly through the front of the abdominals, supporting the lower back in the cat stretch. And then exhaling here, it's really pressing the floor away. Can you think about drawing the pubic bone towards your navel? Go, we'll go 2 more. Inhale and exhale. 1 more each way. Inhale, open up the chest. Good, lengthen through the front of the chest. And then exhale, navel comes in. Tail curls under. Good work. And then from here, knees go wide, toes together, come back into your child's pose. Okay, and here just take whatever movement feels okay for you. It might be a little rock from side to side, and it may be a little bit more of like a cat stretch again, and then really sink the chest down. There's a couple of positions I always come into when I feel my lower back pain. Child's pose is one of them, but I know not everyone's comfortable there. And then also I always do my pelvic tilts. So where we started off with pelvic tilts is a blessing for lower back pain. All right, from here, let's come up to seated. Good, and here we're just going to sweep the legs out long in front of you, sitting up nice and tall. If your legs don't go long, then that's not an issue. We're going through the lower back, so we're not trying to target the hamstrings here. Good, so just making sure you're comfortable. You can prop your bottom up on a towel, pillow, or the back of your mat. Good, and just let those hamstrings be as relaxed as possible. From here, the arms are going to reach forward. We're going to lift the spine up, and then exhale, we're just going to roll the spine forward. Coming into your spine stretch. And you should really feel that lengthening out through the lower back, through the upper back, mid back. Take a breath and make sure the shoulders aren't up around your ears. And then exhale, restack all the way back up. Good, inhale to find that length. And then again, exhale, rolling yourself forward.
Good, your gaze, make sure the gaze comes down towards your thighs. Really reach out through the crown of the head and then re-stack back up. Good, let's go one more like that for me. Good, rolling yourself forward. Good work. Drop your hands down to your legs. Wherever they reach, they might be knees, might be thighs, might be big toes if you're super amazing. All right, and then here, I want you to open up your chest. Bring your gaze forward, try and lift the chest forward, and then exhale, round back over. So we're just moving here through the upper back. Okay, inhale, lift the chest up, should feel nice. Exhale, round back over. So it's almost like your cat-cow, but we're seated. Inhale up, exhale, lift the navel towards the spine. Go to one more, inhale, lifting forward, and then exhale. Good work, lift back up slowly. All right, and then here we're going to come into Mermaid, but we're just going to go cross-legged, or whatever legged works for you. You may want to prop yourself up in a box or like a little block or a pillow underneath your bottom if this is not comfortable for you. And then here we're just going to have the fingertips down on the floor. Lifting the spine up as much as possible. We're just going to take that right arm, leaving the left hand down on the floor, and reach up and over. Good, so your gaze stays forward. Good, making sure the gaze isn't moving. Good, but the gaze just follows this really kind of long arc as you pass over to the other side. Placing the right hand down on the floor. Drop that right shoulder away from your ear, left shoulder space around the ear. Good, and really press the hand into the floor and open up those ribs. Stretching out through that whole side body. Good, and then over to the other side. Good, and again, opening up those top ribs. Press that hand into the floor, really get that opening. Big breath into the ribs, really send the breath into the side of the body. And then re-stacking over to the other side. Good work, and again, press that hand into the floor. That helps you to press open through that side, really drive down through that left sit bone. All right, we're gonna come back over towards the left side. And a little rotation. Take a breath in, we're going to take that top arm, we're going to thread it underneath the bottom arm like you're threading a needle. Reach around and try and reach and follow where that hand's going. And then we're going to pause here, take a breath into the back of the body, really try and press that back away from you with the inhale. Exhale, go further. And again, inhale into the back of the body. And then exhale to go further. Good work. Open back up into your side bend. And then over to the other side. Good. Can you keep that left sit bone heavy? Adding that rotation again on the right side. Left arm comes underneath. Thread that hand through. Good. Follow where it's going with your gaze. Inhale into the back of the body. Try and stretch it. And then exhale. Try and go further. And again, inhale into the back of the body. Exhale again, go a little bit further. Open back up on the breath in, and then re-stack the body all the way back up. All right, so that was just a nice gentle movement class. Let me know how your back feels, whether anything kind of provoked it, or hopefully maybe it feels a little bit more looser. Maybe you spent the whole entire class just doing pelvic tilts because that felt nice. By all means, just do whatever you like. Let me know any feedback, but also keep moving. So best thing you could do for lower back pain is to keep moving, as long as you don't cause yourself any more pain. Thanks guys, and I hope you have a good rest of your day or evening.